I'm kind of nervous.
Yo, what's going on though, bro?
What's up, Lewis?
And you see, look what I tell you. Me knowing you're a Pittsburgh fan, I say wear whatever you want to wear.
You know,
Look, I say wear whatever you want to wear.
you did kind of make me feel special. I was gonna wear like a collared shirt. I had like a collared shirt put aside, and then you were like, "Nah, wear whatever you want." And I was like, "I'm already gonna
Nah,
wear."
and then I was like dressed up too.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No, you
Look
didn't.
at your message. I was like dressed up.
Well, you know my.
But I knew I know how hard it is for you to follow directions.
Bro, get the fuck out
So
of
I
here.
was like, well, he nah, but yeah. You see?
I'm coming straight from the gym. You know how that be. You already knew where I was at. I was hoping that I was gonna catch your ass at any time, but I go there this morning. It's all closed down. Yeah, Horsebrook is all closed.
Yeah,
my
so
bad.
yeah. Horsebrook closed down today.
I guess that they had a sign on their thing that
Oh,
said
they
since
building
Friday.
because of that other building. They building that extra part on it. Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up?
You know it's gonna be super hard.
Bro, do what you got to do, bro.
It's gonna be tough.
Do what you got to do. This ain't no, it ain't scripted. You see any cards or yo 22? Well, yeah, this ain't scripted. Like this is like we are really going.
I like it. I like the setup. I wasn't really knowing what to expect coming in here, and then I come in here.
Bro, this ain't no days off.
Ain't no days off.
Yeah, you know
Ever.
Yeah.
Never.
What you mean you didn't know what to expect?
Ain't no
Bro, you
days
coming
off
to the
ever.
studio.
Bro, I ain't been at your house for months.
I know it, but and it's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, you committed. There ain't no days off.
Ain't no days off.
I see what you're talking about now. Ain't no days
Ain't no
off.
days off.
You walk in your damn house, you got a damn studio in your damn living room. It ain't even a damn living room no
It's done
Ain't no
upgraded
days
now.
off. But yeah. So what's your name and where you from?
My name's Walt Marshall. I'm a third. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I finished high school down here. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider, like, if somebody tells me, like, I grew up in Pittsburgh. Yeah, but it's not like the foundation of the new way of life that I found in recovery. You know, Pittsburgh is like my place to go visit, and I want to leave very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, but ain't that's where all your family? Ain't your family still in Pittsburgh?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I got some aunts and some cousins up there, but like my immediate family's down here.
All right. So, what grade did you leave? What grade were you in when you left Pittsburgh?
I was in the middle of my 11th grade year.
I bet you was bad, bro.
I was bad. The reasoning why I think we even moved to Myrtle Beach was because of it. I mean, it was to get me away from the crowd that I was hanging around with, because it was, I mean, come on, 15 years old performing an armed robbery.
Oh man, yeah, that's
Wow.
yo, that's crazy.
Like-
so you was really toting that Thule?
I mean, it wasn't even that. It was just like I have this, it was like this inner demon, this, like, the inner beast that like wants to do that. And like I knew, like 14 years old, I remember telling my mom, like, I'm gonna end up robbing something one day. And she would just like brush it off, like, yeah, okay, whatever, kids will be kids. And like I was like, for real, like I was trying to get away with stuff, because that's what like drove me to, like, that's where I got that adrenaline rush, was to get away with shit, like be bad.
Yeah.
So,
And you really laid something down. Get down and lay down.
Walt was putting that tool on.
With the robbery.
I mean,
Walt was putting that tool on him. My boy straight. Get down and lay down, Walt.
Yeah, but still, even that, it was
How did it make you feel once you did that?
like I really can't even just I guess just knowing that I got away with something because like the whole reasoning behind it was like the school that I was going to was like there was a lot of rich kids in that school. It was
Okay.
like rich kids, middle kids, and then lower income kids. And like I just wanted to fit in. So like they all at that time iPods were just coming out, and like, I wanted one, so I was willing to do whatever it takes to get it. And the other two guys fell with me, and it was all downhill. I got caught that night.
Yeah.
I wasn't good at it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I
It is what it
remember.
is.
I remember when iPods first came. They were the thing. Everybody was getting them, and I remember like my mom before, like she would ask me what I want for Christmas, and I was in my addiction. I was using drugs, and I was like, "Get me an iPod," because in my mind, like I could sell the iPod when I get it because we
Everything.
wasn't at that money stage. Like giving me money, like we was past that stage because they knew what I was. I was like, "Give me an iPod," and I remember as soon as she got.
Everything must go. Yeah, everything must go. I took that iPod straight to the dope man. Uh, yeah, took it straight to the dope man.
Gave it to me. I went back to the block. I sold my iPod for some dope, and I remember my aunt. She passed away now. Rest in peace. She called.
So I remember, yeah. So my aunt, she was up there when I was trying to sell an iPod, and I remember like it was on Christmas Day too, and I remember she called my mom and told her that I was on a block selling iPods. May she rest in peace.
Called my mom and was like, um, he on the block selling iPods. Yeah, so that was my first
Wow.
experience and last experience with
Can
an
you
iPod.
imagine if like because this was 16 years ago, like 18. Damn, I'm getting old. This was 18 years ago.
18 years
I'm
ago.
34, so 16. This is happening at 16. I can't imagine if like because nowadays they got iPod, AirPod Pros, and whatever you call it, all these like, and then now they making bootleg versions.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if that was back in the
Oh
day?
god, yeah. It would be crazy.
We'd be selling bootleg
We selling
iPods to
bootleg. Yeah.
everybody, dude. This is the real deal right here.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
But yeah, child. I mean, it's funny. It's funny because like that the post you did the other day with the writing on the paper
Yeah.
that reminded me so much of my childhood. Because like if I disrespected my mom, I would be in the dining room writing. I will not disrespect my mom for hours, and then I would get like 20 sheets. I would fill them all and think I'm done.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, I'm done. And
And,
my stepdad would bring in another 20 more. Like,
yeah, with me was different. If I disrespected my mom, I would be like in my room crying.
really?
Yeah, like crying. Because my mama was a disciplinarian. Like she didn't play that. Like she wasn't gonna go to work, feed me, clothe me, and do all this stuff just to have me disrespect her. And I wasn't paying no bills. I wasn't productive. Like all I had to do was go to school, go to church, and be good. That's it. She had it from there. So for me to disrespect her, like she didn't even tolerate that.
I was such a mama's boy.
Yeah,
Like,
you still a mama's boy. You still a mama's boy.
I am.
She's still your biggest fan.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you
100%.
still a
And
mama's boy.
she got, and like it wasn't part of the problem, but like she got me out of everything for sure. All the trouble I was in, like with my stepdad, he was a big disciplinary. She always got me. If I was grounded for 2 weeks, she got me out of jail after 1 week.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's it.
That's just what it was. She was my savior. And like it's funny that you say that because like we had went and ate at that one place like where you get up on the table and dance and stuff down at Broadway. What's it called?
I don't know, bro.
I forget. Anyways, and and like me and my cousin went up on stage, and Nicole videotaped us, and like we watched the video, and my mom was over there rooting me on, like up on stage dancing, and that's exactly what Nicole said. She's like, your mom's always your biggest fan,
Yeah.
100%.
No, I believe.
And it filled me with gratitude. It legit did.
Yo, Jeff says this the gun show.
Mm.
He talking about me though. He got to be
Guns.
talking about me.
Is the sun out? Sun's out, guns out.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
so was there
gracious,
any
look at that.
alcohol or?
In my house?
No.
Growing up?
First of all, so how was like your parent? Was it a functional household? Was there any trauma in the household?
Man, not hearing people in Narcotics Anonymous and speak about that. It wasn't nothing crazy. It was. I was definitely disciplined. I definitely didn't have a good example of what a man was supposed to look like. I only learned that really, and I'm still 2.5 years clean. I'm still figuring it out. Like I really don't.
How many years clean? How many years you got clean?
2.5. If I had to like.
Yeah.
I think it's 935 days
Yeah,
clean. If I had to be exact.
Wow, that's awesome. 2.5 years. That's a long time.
It's the most clean time I've ever had, besides maybe before 14.
Yeah.
I started drinking around
14. Like, what made you start drinking?
Fit in.
Just to fit in with the crowd.
That's just. I think even I was stealing cigarette butts out of the damn ashtray at like 9.
Nah.
Yeah, it was always something to get away. I was always doing things that I wasn't supposed to be doing. Like I wasn't supposed to be drinking. I wasn't supposed to be going up to the friend's house.
So that's the addiction too. Just trying to get away with stuff.
It is. I mean,
just being sneaky.
It's that adrenaline, those feel good feelings.
Yeah.
But even early on, at like 14, 15, I was blacking out.
At 15 years old, blacking
100%.
Gone.
I mean, I remember times like my mom giving me a sponge bath because I was just covered in urine, just blacked out. Like friends bringing me home to the house, and my parents being mad. Mad.
Were either one of your parents an addict?
My mom says she is. She has not drugs, not alcohol. But like she says she has issues with like
okay.
Let's say food. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't have those can still become unmanageable.
No, but it's crazy because I'm a gambler / ex-gambler, and when people say addict or addiction, they automatically think about drugs related to drugs. But I remember as a gambling, I'm talking about, and this ain't been too long ago. I started gambling. I started gambling, and gambling will have you doing stuff that you don't want to do. Like I took a title loan out on my car. I had to move. I had to move from where I was. Like it was crazy when I took the title loan out my car because.
Yo, that was crazy. I took that title loan out on my car. I was about 2 years clean, and I was gambling, and a repo man was looking for me. I was hiding my car behind houses. Yeah, that was crazy.
I didn't have money to gamble. I took a title loan out my car, and I was hiding my car behind a recovery house. So the repo people wouldn't come get it. Like, so that's an addiction. 100%. Yeah.
Ways and means to get more.
Ways and means to get one. Like one is too many, and 1,000 is never enough. Like,
I don't even know what. I don't even like. Don't get me wrong. Like I do when I go to Pittsburgh, I do go to the casino. I do put some bets in. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Listen. You put the drugs down. That don't mean the disease is gone.
Yeah.
it pops up in all areas
Yeah.
of my damn life. It's pretty annoying.
So listen, so you're blacking out. Your mom is giving you a sponge bath, wiping urine off. How long did this go on for?
The alcohol.
Yeah.
Until I started experimenting with drugs when I came to South Carolina.
All right.
Even like at 14, 15, at the people I was drinking with, the friends that I had in Pittsburgh then, they were all smoking. They were all smoking weed.
Okay.
But like my grandma had just died of lung cancer. Like 15 years old. So I was absolutely against any type of smoking at that point.
Okay.
So, but then when I came down here, the only kids I really
Black and white.
oh yeah, because in like, listen, I grew up the school Shaler School District in Pittsburgh. My graduating class had 1,000 plus. Right. I think if there was 1,000 people, 997 were white.
Nah, anytime you start something new, it's gonna be fear.
Yeah.
Anytime something unfamiliar is gonna be fear. I remember thinking like when I was like, gosh, when I thought of doing a podcast, like it was so much fear because I hadn't done well, what if I'm rejected? What if nobody don't like it? Like what if I don't get to follow? What if like it was just so much fear there. And then I just went along with it.
Yeah, I just jump on here now. It don't matter.
So you scared?
It wasn't that.
Yeah. So you still scared
Of what?
African American?
No. So like I would say about 6 months into school, and this specific individual opened my mind to everything. You know what I mean? Because like I was a very like say it like a typical like you see like in the room where you get the old white guy predecessors or that are like this is the way it's gonna be. Da, 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 da. They're very opinionated. I was turning into that person basically. You know what I mean? And when I came down here, my best friend that I met in high school, he was older. He was already out of high school. Black guy and gay. Both of those areas of my life, I've never was friends with somebody that was gay, and I was never friends with a black person. And he changed my perspective of everything because, like, I don't know if I thought like I just wouldn't get along, you know what I mean, or something, but like it wasn't true. That was my best friend when I came down here, so it changed my view on things a lot.
On everything.
On everything. Those are two big areas,
Yeah.
big areas.
So now you accept everybody.
I accept everybody.
So
unless you give me a reason not to.
Do you think that was a good change?
I think it was a good. Looking back at life, everything happened for a reason. You know what I mean?
Everything happened for a reason.
Yeah, everything.
So when
good and bad.
So when I first met you, you were smoking cigarettes.
Yeah,
so
was I?
Yeah. Then where we went to the vape. Yeah, I remember you were smoking them, stinking. What were they, Mark?
Yeah, you was a chain smoker, bro. God. Yeah, you were definitely a chain smoker. You smoked like 4, 5 cigarettes a minute. Back to back.
Marlboro Greens or something. It was.
I don't think so,
bro. But it was.
I think
so. No, I'm pretty sure you were smoking, and then you went to the vape, and then you went to nothing.
Yeah, but I've quit smoking twice since I've been down.
All right, I've been knowing you since you've been down here, bro. I don't know. No.
4 years?
About 4.
4?
About 4. You was smoking like 4 years ago. Yeah, you was more like chain smoking like back to back.
It's probably close to 4 years.
Yeah, you were smoking. So you start back smoking. Did the alcohol and the drugs come right away or later on?
I didn't. I started experimenting with drugs when I came down here. So like I was able to identify addiction. like that's where I kind of struggle with this a little bit. It's because, and once again, everything happens for a reason. But I always seen like my cousins. I knew that they were doing um, drugs, and like they were screwing their life up, and they were choosing all these things over their family. And but like I still thought that like I don't know. Nobody told me. Like I feel like if somebody would have told me early on that like, hey, your dad was an alcoholic, or your father was an alcoholic, most likely you're an addict, or your family's riddled of addicts, most likely you're an addict. You should watch out. Nobody gave me that heads up. I don't know if my mom was just hoping and praying I wasn't,
Yeah.
but I was 100% in
You
that.
was 100.
Hell,
So when did you find out you was 100% addict?
um,
Well, not 100. When did you find out you was an addict?
probably whenever Brooke's mom got pregnant with Brooke.
Okay, and who was Brooks?
Brooke is my daughter.
Yeah.
Brooke is 12.
Yeah.
Great, grow fast, and it was just because we were doing drugs together. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Mine and her mom, and but like when she got pregnant, she just said enough, and she put it down.
Well,
That was
not sure.
my
That ain't
story.
your story.
That
Yeah.
is not my story.
And I've seen that done. Some people can do that.
Really?
Some people can do that. Like, yeah, some people can really do that. Like, just be doing something and just stop. It's over. Like, we can't do this no more. But that wasn't my story either. I got
You talk about an addict able to do that? There's no way.
I'm not sure
There's
they
no
was an
way.
addict
There's
though.
no way.
Like everybody, just because someone get high, dude, that don't mean they're an addict.
No. I 100% feel the same way. I believe there's some people in our fellowship that probably aren't addicts.
All right, yeah. I've looked at
Trust
people
me.
like, yo,
Yeah.
what was that? Yeah, and yeah, just because
You a
they're-
one shit wonder? What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but some people just had a. I do believe like some people just get tired and never have. It's over. I remember my father. He was telling this story 38, 39 years. And I remember him telling me the story like he was walking to the store. Something happened, and since that day, I've never seen it. I've never seen him drunk or anything. I've heard stories, but since that day, he just didn't touch it again. That one time, like he just didn't touch it back.
For some, their bottom is different than
Yeah,
mine.
and that's like that traumatic experience that we talked about. So now you got this baby, you and your girl, you got this drug habit. Your girl stops, but now you got this kid with her, and you're a full blown addict. How was the relationship with you, your daughter, and your baby mother?
After she was born?
After she was born, you're the only addict now. Your girl, she's done
100%.
stopped.
Yes.
And now, like, how was your relationship with your child as an addict?
It was completely
It was unmanageable.
100%. There was a time that I fell asleep due to taking too many drugs. They kicked in the door because Brooke was crying. You could hear her crying from outside the apartment. You know, like things like that was happening. Was taking her on drugs. Like things like that were happening. Like at the time, I thought like this is what I have to do. You know, but like I still feel some like thank God Brooke does not remember these things. You know, but like I do still feel some type of like shame and guilt over those things. But I've acknowledged that was the disease. That was the disease. You know, wasn't me.
You say you was taking your daughter where?
Drug run. Pick up.
To pick up.
And
you know, some people see this and see you say that and think how horrible that is, but they don't understand like as an addict, when it's time to get high, it's time to get high. Pack your bag, get your fucking diaper bag or whatever, and come on and get in the car.
It wasn't even it was 100% that, but like at that time, I needed that to function.
Yeah.
100%. I was not. I mean, even though that didn't, using drugs was not the correct way to take care of a child. Me without them, flu sick, not being able to move, like nothing. So, like in my brain, in full blown active addiction, that was the only way to be a normal person.
Because you didn't want to be sick. Your
Uh,
body was dependent on
that's-
the drug.
I would say 90% of my active addiction was preventing.
Prevention.
It's,
Prevention.
it's only fun for like the first little bit of time. Everything after that is just trying not to be sick, and yeah, it's not. It hasn't been. It wasn't fun for a very long time.
Yeah. Jay Beaver say nicotine kills. Kudos to you, Walt, for kicking that substance too. Keep shining.
It's. I mean, that wasn't. I just with vaping. Like I'm not what I've stopped vaping. What 3 months?
Yeah.
I mean, it got to the point to where I made it like a day. I made it a day without vaping. I'm like, I've already made it 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's been shitty. I'm just gonna keep going. But like I know through active addiction, through drug use, that like the longer I'm away from it, the easier it gets. So I knew like the next day I wake up, it was gonna be easier than the morning before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when did you? So you got this drug addiction. You cannot not do drugs, or you would be sick, and you did anything you had to do to prevent from being sick, even if it meant taking the baby on the drug run.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you find out? So were there any jails or institutions in your life?
Institution. Yeah.
Institutions, yes.
I would say maybe 2 months after Brooke was born, I came down here to go to Lighthouse.
Okay.
I would say
And what is Lighthouse?
Lighthouse. I came down here. It's a behavioral health center down here in Myrtle Beach, and I came down here just to detox. And I went back up and just continued. That was at those times. It was like I'm doing it for others. Of course, it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anyways, I was introduced to maintenance anyway. So I never left active addiction at that point.
Okay.
I just kept going with another drug.
You say you was introduced to maintenance.
Mhm.
What is MAT? What is maintenance?
In my mind,
In your mind, what is maintenance?
well, maintenance is a drug replacement. Well, that's DRT, right? Maintenance is the same thing. Would you agree? DRT, maintenance, same thing.
Yes.
Drug replacement therapy and maintenance,
Yeah.
same thing, right?
MAT.
Yeah. So what does that make? Maintenance, right?
Medication assisted treatment.
Oh, same. But yeah, it basically it was still an opiate. It still filled that same void that was missing, of course, and it still was mood and mind altering. I just wasn't aware of these things at the time. I didn't have the nobody educated me on what I was taking.
I mean, did you educate? Like I never. Every time I did some dope, I never read the instructions. Like the bags of dope that I used to smoke and cop, they didn't come with no warning labels. They didn't come with no they wasn't FDA approved. Like I didn't test them. Like what is it?
There was no warning sign.
Yeah, there was no warning sign. Like I didn't even know the effect. If I would have knew that, I think if I would have knew the effect that getting high, like that, they didn't. I saw people having fun and being functional. I didn't know that one day I would.
And yeah, and that's the problem with drugs. Like it didn't come with no warning labels. Like wasn't no Surgeon General, wasn't FDA approved. We didn't get a. I didn't know like I was gonna end up like selling cars and houses and stealing and lying and I didn't know that drugs was gonna do all that because in the beginning it was fun. It was what we call recreational, and then like somewhere in between the beginning and the middle, I think I just got away from it. Yeah. So Walt.
Be stealing from my parents. I didn't know one day I would spend
No.
half my life. I didn't know one day I would spend a lot of time in jail. Like I didn't know that. Like it didn't say that. It didn't say, all right, if you continue, if you continue to use this, like it didn't come with no warning label.
It
No,
didn't though.
unfortunately, it didn't. And that's why I said earlier about I wish somebody would have warned me. But like, look, right now, sitting here where I'm supposed to be in this moment, I,
Yeah.
I. But like to continue on the path, like it, it progressed. Very. I went from pills to heroin very fast over
Progression.
Yeah, the progression of my active addiction was very fast. I started burning all the bridges, all my friendships. I burned all of them because I stole from them. I either did them dirty or something. I burned all. I don't have many friends in Pittsburgh because of that.
So I noticed. So I noticed like a whole lot of people are overdosing now. Like we're burying a lot of our family, our friends, because drugs affects everybody. Not just like if I make a decision to use drugs, it won't just affect me. It affect my family, my friends, my job, my community, my the city I
Everything.
live. Like it will affect it's like a ripple effect. And a lot of people they're getting the drug and they're using it and they're passing away. Like, have you ever overdosed?
I could.
He really looked at me just now like that was the stupidest question in the world. He really looked at me like that, Lewis. That was a stupid question.
Put like I can say 10 plus,
You overdosed 10 plus times.
and that's a small number. There's probably been, and that's just like me rounding it off. Like I don't. I if I sat here, I probably couldn't give you an accurate number because who knows? Who knows how many times I've overdosed and woke up on my own will and didn't have to start. You know what I mean? God just brought me back. You know how many times I used, fell asleep? I could have
Yeah.
been overdosed. Who knows?
Who knows?
I can't. My higher power brought me back.
How? Okay. How many times have you died?
Hospitalized
Hospitalized.
or Narcan? Both.
How many times?
I've been hospitalized twice, multiple days, like one in my early 20s, once in my third, it might have been late 20s, early 30s, and then I've been Narcan probably 8 times, probably more, 6. Yeah, it's not a joke.
Have you ever? So you say you was hospitalized. That means someone found you. Who found you? Like what happened? One case where someone you overdosed, someone found you, and it was bad.
Let me tell you about both or just one.
Both.
So the first time I had overdosed, it was a couple other addicts, and they just left me hoping I would wake up. And then I started to turn blue, and they thought it would be smart to try to counteract the opiate to hit me with something stimulant wise. Yeah, that didn't. that didn't bring me back. It didn't bring me back.
Yeah.
I remember that time, them Narcan and me them getting me in the ambulance, and me being awake, and I remember the guy clearly saying, "Oh, he's going out again," and it going black, and they said they had to Narcan me another 2 times in the ambulance.
Mm.
And that time, I was in Pittsburgh because I had moved back to Pittsburgh, and like my mom had told me that the doctors had called her and told her, you better start coming because there's a chance you might not make it. I remember waking up with the damn mask strapped over my face, down my throat. I remember waking up trying to pull it off, and like still there was a damn addict in the room trying to take the money out of my damn fucking pants, dude. Like sick,
They ain't gonna
bro.
do you no good in a hospital.
Yeah. And the thing about it is like, dude, like I remember sitting in that bed when my mom was there and everything, and saying,
In the hospital.
crying, saying, I will never do this again.
And in your heart and in your mind, you were so serious.
I did not want that. Every single time I had overdosed, crying in jail, crying in a hospital bed, I always believed that this was it. And like even after I left the hospital that time, I went home, flushed all the drugs I had. Me and my mom flushed all of them, but she fucked up because she gave me that money.
Yeah.
So I had like $600.
How long did you stay in the hospital?
I think 3-4 days that time.
Yeah.
It was a that was an ICU.
Yeah. I remember every time I used to go to detox, like in my mind, in my heart, I was really done.
100%.
I would take all my paraphernalia, my lighters, and anything that related to getting high, I would just throw it.
But yeah, that was like at the end. But like when I first started going to detox, like I ain't throw it away. I used to just stash it. So when I got out, I could go right back to it. But during the end, I just used to like turn just throw it. But yeah, I used to so
Throw it away. I would like I would throw it away. Like because I was really in my head, I was really done. Like this was really my bottom. 100% every single time. Only to go to detox, get a couple meals, get my good health back, get a little bit of weight. My cheeks start back hanging out. Only my cheeks start getting fat again, because that's how I use. You saw my picture. You saw my picture. Like I remember I was showing it to someone the other day. They was like, "Who was that?"
You do look different.
Yeah, they was like, "Who is that?" I was like, "That's me," because that's how I use. That's how I use. I don't stop. I just go, and that's why we say we're addicts, and they might, and the other people might not be, because once I start, I can't stop.
No,
not on my own. It always takes. Yeah,
I have a lot of evidence looking back that there is absolutely no possible way that I of anything. If I take one sip of alcohol, or if I take one puff of marijuana, or take one pill, I'm done. I will go back out. My life will become a man
all over again.
I will go back to exactly who I have evidence in my active addiction that where I quit using for 4 or 5 months, used one, and it was like my brain just flipped the switch directly back to the mindset. It's like those 4 months clean never existed. Ever. It's insane.
It's crazy, right?
It's cunning and baffling.
And then
they ain't lying.
And then as an addict, we wondered, how did I get here again? Right back in the same place. Worse. It's worse this time.
It's progressive. It always gets worse.
It always gets worse every time you go out, right? So what about the second time?
The second time it was just, so look, like there was some clean time that I had before this.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I did come to a point where I was living like a slave to this disease, and I was done. Like I just had nothing. I couldn't do it no more. There wasn't nothing traumatic that happened. I think it was just like I can't.
Good car and all this, but once I put a drug in my body, I would neglect all that. All that now becomes on the back burner. My only concern now is getting high. It's feeding this addiction.
You get the blinders.
Exactly.
All you see is what's in front of you. All this shit on the sides does not matter. The only time that those things matter is when I'm already. But then again, soon after that, I'm already thinking about the next one anyway.
So so your wife is finding you. You're dying. Like overdosing, hospitals. So, what was the traumatic experience that you had that made you say, "I can't do this no more again," and to get these 2.5 years clean?
Um, so after that first initial hospitalization, after my wife originally found me dead that time, I mean, there was time periods in between because it took 4 years
Yeah.
between that first time to my clean time now. The 3/2/21 is my clean date to 3/2/20 or 3/1/21. Um, a lot of 4 or 5 months clean. My wife found me another 5 times dead, another 5 times Narcan. There was, dude. It was like this is how sick it is. Like there was a time that I had OD, right? I had they had brought me back. I mistaken identity. The police straight whooped me bad, dude. Maced, tased, in the hospital bed, handcuffed because they thought I was a danger to myself and them. Released me. I ran back to my house, 2 miles, overdosed again, less than 2 hours. That's how strong this thing. Yeah, it just has a hold on me that doesn't want to let go.
Yeah.
And anyways, I think even with all that happening, and like the cops at that point, because they were at my house so many times, were begging me like, dude, you're gonna die. Like they actually started to give a shit a little bit. They were like, you're gonna die. Like, we're gonna come here and you're gonna be coming out and body that. Like, it's like,
Yo, he said the cops was at his house so many times they actually for him overdosing, they actually started to care. That's wild.
But what happened was, so I finally did a 90/90. That's when you probably first met me, right?
Okay.
And I was doing all the things except I didn't have that conscious contact with the higher power.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was doing some step work because I had a sponsor, but I wasn't really committed. I was doing the 90/90 to show my wife that, like, hey, look, I'm doing it. Don't leave me. I'm doing it.
She wasn't going for that. She was not going for that.
I ended up picking up again and
Picking up dope
again. Because like in my brain, like whenever I had like this thought of like whenever I text the drug dealer, right? I thought I had to follow him.
Yeah. And in your mind the whole time, I should be doing this. But I don't text them now.
100%.
But I don't see it.
I always knew I wasn't. I like even from the first time I hit that text. Then I remember like all the way up until I picked up, like you don't do this, because I had some recovery in my brain. I had the no matter what. I'm pretty sure I was wearing a bracelet at that point. But like, so I had went back out and used, and I remember picking up after work one day, and I remember using, and like my goal was, because I was still trying to hide it from my wife.
Yeah.
And I was going to two people's 1 year celebration.
You was on your way to.
I was on my way. Yeah, I had just
after mine. Okay.
I had just used, and like this is my active addiction. It even the drug use was progressive. So I went from pills to heroin to maintenance back to heroin, and then I started speedball. Back, it was progressive, dude. Everything when they say jails, institutions, that they say this disease is progressive, it always gets worse. Literally, in the past 10 years, in active addiction, it always the consequences got worse, the drug use got worse, nothing in my life ever got better. It always got worse. But what happened was, so I had used in a parking lot up in Conway, and I got about 2 miles down the road, because who doesn't think using and getting behind the wheel is smart? Because I did it thousands of times before then. It was perfectly fine.
Yeah. Always used to use the drive.
Yeah.
With my knee. Yep.
Perfectly fine. Yeah, I've even used Wild.
Yeah.
So like Didn't think there was going to be an issue, and I don't even remember. Like I know I overdosed behind the wheel.
You overdosed behind the wheel.
I overdosed behind the wheel in Conway, right on 501. Busy at night. Everyone's going home from work, and going probably about 40. I don't remember it. But I overdosed in 501 is 2-lane highway. There's no barrier, nothing, and I veered onto head-on traffic, and I hit a married couple head on. Like I hit them head on, and I injured them, and I woke up, and I remember the cops. I remember the one female cop. She was directing traffic, and I remember waking up and like, what happened? And she's like, got in an accident, and like they were pulling me off to the side and giving me field sobriety tests, and dude, it was. I remember asking or like, I remember them telling me I injured somebody because I didn't know what happened. Like I don't remember it. But looking back and trying to think, I don't remember the accident. All I can think of is I feel like 2 thuds, like a boom boom, like ooh, that's it. It's just black. And then waking up, and they took me to jail. They took me to jail. Of course.
So you done been in rehab, you done died, and you done been in jail.
Yeah.
And that's what they,
And that, I mean, I was on that door.
and that's the only thing, addiction, it do promise us, we do get a daily reprieve, but it promises us jail, institution, and death. And at this time, you've done all 3.
I mean, I spent my nights in jail prior, but never for a charge that I was facing that I couldn't get out.
Yeah.
I was clearly guilty. You know what I mean? I was clearly guilty. There was no talking about it.
So you're in jail. You done this. You really can't. You remember bits and pieces. You can't remember everything. What happened once you got released from jail?
So they weren't. I had to be bonded out. Of course, my bond was pretty high because it was a felony DUI, and I just wanted them to get me out. I wanted my parents to get me out. My wife was done, completely done.
Done.
She was done.
She was.
She was done. And
was.
And like I had money. I had money to get bonded out. I just couldn't get to it. And I told my mom. My mom's like, "You got to go to rehab," and I already knew that. I knew it. And but like something happened in jail that had opened my eyes. Like I remember laying in the jail cell. This was during COVID, so you were in the cell 23 and a half hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that has experience in jail, it is not fun being in jail. Your freedom is gone. It's cold. It stinks. Most of the people you're in jail with, it's not good.
Patrice said, speaking to the microphone more.
Me? Okay. I'm sorry, Treese. I love you. So I had went to jail. Oh, there, I hear it better now. So I was in jail, and like how people write things on the wall in jail, right? And like I remember seeing like there were 4 walls, obviously, and on the left side, I was in the top bunk. It said, clear as day, in pencil. It said, "Never come back." And then I'm glancing around the wall to the right side on the top of the other bunk, and it clearly says the only 2 things I can read because I don't have the best eye. It said God's got your back. And I took that as a sign. I took that as a sign because while I'm sitting there for 23 hours, I got the time to reflect of, okay, Narcotics Anonymous, it tells me like there's people in there with 20, 30 years. Like this gotta work. It's gotta work. what was I missing? I did the 90/90. I had a sponsor. What was I missing? And then I started remembering the Just for Today. Then I started remembering the step work. And if you read Just for Today every day, I swear half of, if not 3/4 of Just for Days, talk about a higher power. And that's in a conscious contact. And I knew for sure that's what I was missing. I did not have a conscious contact in that first 90. So I knew that was something that I had to try to get in touch with when I went to rehab. I left there.
So you left jail and went straight to rehab?
I left jail. I tried to talk the rehab into let me go home to get clothes because I wanted to see my wife, and they told me absolutely not, because they knew that if I went home, there was a chance I wasn't going to go to rehab.
So you went straight to rehab?
I went straight to rehab.
How long did you stay?
28 days.
What did you learn in rehab? 2 things you learned in rehab.
I learned about my disease. I learned that what I suffer with.
Why do you consider drug addiction a disease?
I mean, it's a fact. It's a fact now. It is a disease. But why do I believe it is?
Yeah, why do you believe drug addiction is a disease?
Why you got a spot like that, Lewis? Because it's progressive.
It is.
It's progressive. 2, it is fatal. It is fatal. If I continue using, I will die. I will die. And that's one of, and I forget the rules of what bullet point you have to reach for it to be a disease. But progression and it being fatal is one. But like, look, I went into rehab and I knew I didn't have a grip on this conscious contact thing. So I said, I'm going to really give this thing a try.
Okay.
I didn't really know how to pray, but I knew, I didn't know what to say. I knew the Serenity Prayer. I didn't know what to say, but I said, this is what I'm going to do. Every morning, I'm going to get down on my knees beside my bed before I go down to the little learning place. And every night before I go to bed, I'm going to get down on my knees and pray. I don't know what, but as long as I'm, surrendering, I didn't really even know what surrender was then. As long as I'm doing that, maybe, just maybe, I can get this conscious contact. And I had a conscious contact with my higher power before I left rehab. I would say it took maybe 10 days, 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I would say under 2 weeks for me to start seeing signs that something had my back. And it could have been, it could have been little, like, I have a friend in NA that says they're God winks.
Those little moments.
The little moments we're like, wait, what? That coincidence was too coincidental. That this was just going on I was just thinking about something in my brain, and this person directly in front of me literally just said it, and I didn't say a word. Like that, it was too coincidental. And so I'd seen those things happening, and I couldn't. The things that I seen happening and witnessing were things that I couldn't ignore. I couldn't ignore. So ever since then, I haven't stopped praying. I haven't stopped.
I mean, yeah. And even and even being your friend and you talking to me, like I could actually I seen God with you,
Right?
because you talked about the accident. It could have been worse.
Way worse.
It could have been way worse. You talk about dying, and you're here on Ain't No Days Off podcast,
Ain't No Days Off,
and you died several times. Like, it could have been worse.
It could have been.
And each time someone was there to find you, or someone was there with you, because as addicts, we like to isolate.
100%. I used to love.
Yeah,
100%.
Exactly. Especially especially if we have been on a good path and we don't want nobody to know, and we're sneaking and doing it. Like, we like to isolate. We like to go somewhere alone and ain't nobody there, and use. So, and every time in your case that you have overdosed, someone has found you. I'm just saying, we're talking about God winks, those God moments. So
that's where mercy comes in.
That's where mercy.
my higher power had a lot of mercy on me. He gave me a lot of second chances. In this last one, um, he basically, I mean, even 2 months prior to that accident happened, I had lost my custody order. Like we didn't even talk about how I worked 3 years to get custody of my daughter out of state, and then I lost it. It took me 3 years of constant fighting in court, doing whatever I had to get that out of state custody, and then lost it quick.
So, how's that going now?
It really is.
So wait, and we talk about God moments all the time.
So just a little real quick update, man. He done had a whole week, man, and yeah, it's done. Yeah, he's way, 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 way farther on than he was when he first made this. Yeah.
So you had custody, you used, you lost it.
Mm-hmm.
You got clean, and now life is beautiful again.
It is. It's good. So I did, for the first year clean, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to fight again in court to get it back. This is what I'm gonna have to do. Her mom is not willing to. She has seen me be this this habitual relapser, always relapse, doesn't matter. And so like I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to fight her in court. I went to court a year clean, thinking that the judge is gonna be like, he's got a year clean, he can have back his out of state custody. That is not how it happened. That is not how it happened at all. She basically looked at me and said, "You got to do more. You have to do all these things: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, probably all the way. These are all the things you got to do out of state. Like you're gonna have to do all these things." It was basically, it would have took a lot. I don't even know if it was possible, but I would have done it because that's just what I do. I do whatever it takes. I have a lot of discipline in a lot of areas of my life, so I do whatever it takes. But like, that's not what happened. That is not what happened. So what I've learned through step work was that sometimes I just got to let go and let life run its course. So through step work, through getting through some of the steps, and I started to talk to Brooke's mom more. Of course, I was working step work. I was clean. I was working on myself. I was just trying to be a better me than I was the day before.
Okay.
And eventually, through talking with her mom, she started to see a huge difference in like, I didn't tell her like, hey, I'm doing step work. Hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I'm doing that. She noticed it herself. So there was obviously something that was, for me, I was able to recognize at that point that step work was doing things for me that I could not recognize because I'm already living in my own body. When I have slight changes, they just kind of happen and I kind of just keep living. So I don't really notice them, you know?
Yeah.
It takes somebody else to point them out. So what had happened was we started to develop this working relationship, this co-parenting relationship, and it blossomed into the fact of like, that she has a sister that's an active addiction that is in rehab now, God bless. And like, she was looking at me for support. She was looking
the drug addict,
right? And like, so she was looking. Wait, yes,
no, I'm saying you being the drug addict, like someone that's not on drugs was looking at
for me for
that's
support.
Beautiful, looking for you, the one
and asking me what I,
the drug addict.
Yes, the hopeless dope
The
fiend.
hopeless dope fiend, the one that
Yeah.
overdosed and died and lost custody and been in jails and institution. Someone was actually looking to you for some advice.
Dude, it was mind blowing, bro. It really was. Like, I couldn't believe what was happening, and like, but I did know one thing, that like, I didn't have my hand. You know what I mean? I and these type of things every morning. And when I ask for guidance, I just want him to point me in the direction. You ain't gotta like pick me up, place me over here, but like, just give me some sign. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, I'll ask for a sign, and I would say more times than not, he gives it. And but like, so like now I have out of state custody. You know, like Brooke's coming down for a week. She was just down here
Wow.
for 2 weeks in the summertime. I'm going up at the end of next month, and then she'll be coming up for a week after Christmas. Like I'm allowed to have. We agreed to me getting her the second half of Christmas Day, but like it's almost impossible to go
Yeah.
up to Pennsylvania.
But that's awesome. 2.5 years later, I mean, all this stuff is gifts, many gifts,
the gifts, the many gifts of
the
recovery.
many gifts.
And we're already talking about next summer, her coming down for 3 weeks in the beginning, and then her coming down for probably another week or two during the end. And like when it really comes down to it, like for me, when it comes to custody, because like my father, whenever I was 13, I remember going to Arizona to visit him, but then after that, like he never really fought, you know. So like that reflected on how I was to her. Like there's no matter what, I'm not gonna allow her to feel like I don't want her.
Your father didn't fight for you, so you're gonna fight for yours.
100%. That's a lot of things that I look back and I've realized that how I take on life is the way that I was treated. I'm like, I don't want to be treated that way, so let me do this. I'm gonna do the opposite. I do not want to be that. I don't want to be my father. I want to be this guy. So like that's how I've been made the person I am today. But it's like she's at the age now where she's 12, 13. And she's gonna be 13 coming up here in March. And like she has a choice. Like, you know, if she wants to come down for a week during the summer and play fall ball and softball for the rest of the summer, like I'm okay with that. As long as that's what she wants.
Yeah.
If that's what she wants, as long as she knows that like I'm not over here saying you can't come. I'm not over here saying I didn't try. She knows she can come down.
Yeah. So your life has definitely gotten better since you've been in recovery. Man, you did great.
You see this background?
Bro, you like that? I'm gonna get a picture of you. I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna get a picture of
What time is it?
It's we have been
10
on
o'clock?
here. It's 10:11.
Jeez, that hour went by quick.